Just a question going back to the very first fans forum when Mark was here. You were asked the question at the beginning of the National League season, what are you going to do if Plan A doesn't work? And your memorable reply was, do Plan A better. Now we've seen over the last 3 years that actually that's not necessarily to do with tactics, formation, opponents, but the kind of DNA of the club. Where do you think we are, the strengths that we are with that doing Plan A better now? And what are your sort of plans for the rest of the season to do Plan A even better?
Yeah, good question. I think you're constantly evolving. I have no set real philosophy where this is how we have to play. It always moves with what players you've got available. I think you have to be adaptable enough to realise that some players need to play a little bit differently. So probably notice that we don't possibly take as many short goal kicks this year. Yeah, there may be a reason for that, so you have to have a goalkeeper that can do all sorts of everything, but we decided this year the main thing was to try and keep the ball out the net, and then we'd work backwards from him kicking the ball a little bit further. But it's not taking away any of our possession football. But going back to the first bit, we're dependent on the players. So Rich, obviously sat at the end there, he's helped bring in some really good players. Yes, they have to be technically good. I think you can see we've stepped up in terms of our athleticism this year. I think we have a lot more drive and pace in the team. So the young gentleman over there mentioned Ebu Adams. So yeah, I think we're a bit more destructive, a bit more athletic this year. But that's down to the players that we recruited in the summer. And we are constantly evolving. I don't think there is a set philosophy, right, we're going to play tippy-tappy football. I'm not that silly. I want to be adaptable and play to our strengths, which I think we're doing really well at the minute.
Really obvious improvement from last season. Quality of players, organisation of the team, effectiveness, and entertainment, home and away. I'm interested, Mark, to know what you've learned since we kicked off in August. I'd like to know how you then apply that for the rest of the season, but I can understand you may not want to share that.
Well, I think as a coach, a manager, I learn every day about the players, about myself, what works, what doesn't work, and there's no perfect science to being a manager or a coach. Sometimes it's a gut feeling on the day. Right, we're gonna, I fancy playing this on Saturday. The reasons why, then we'll work on it. I'll go back to the players. It's you play to suit the players that you've got, and the way we're playing at the minute suits the players that we've got. I think we've had to cope with some injuries, so some of the players that are in the team probably wouldn't be in the team, but they've got that opportunity because people like Elliott, Williams have been injured long term. So constantly evolving day to day. I've learned so much here as a coach, as a manager, and I will continue to do that. And I think we can get better. I really do. I think because the group's so young and they want to work, they want to learn, I think they'll get better. I really do. I think January, if we can tweak a little bit, I think we can get even stronger.
How have you settled into your new role, and what changes does it bring with it? And any updates ahead of January?
No updates ahead of January. We don't give away the trade secrets. The new role's been good. A lot of the elements were already in the role that I was doing previously, but the main emphasis is to help take the workload off Mark and make sure that he's not getting bogged down in some of the more mundane stuff. So there's myself and James Mooney, the head of football ops. We take care of a lot of the elements, sort of like training ground, training kit, things like that. So Mark's able to concentrate his attention on the pitch for 3 o'clock on a Saturday, and that's what he's well skilled at doing. So it's really important that he's able to best focus on that. The role still encompasses all the recruitment stuff, so we're constantly looking, trying to make sure that we're ahead of the market for January and making sure that we know what we want to do when the time comes that we can bring a few players in to bolster the group again.
Given the fact that the academy team aren't doing too badly, I mean, they could have kept a clean sheet yesterday and scored the 10th goal. And it's been good to see players like Isaiah Jones and Vaughan Coville come into the leasing trophy games. How far do you think we are from seeing one of our academy players regularly in the league match day squad, and what are your sort of plans for drawing them in?
We're a way behind in terms of, I would say, recruitment. It's a tough catchment area for us with the clubs that are around and bigger clubs than us to recruit the young players at the right age. So we invariably get boys that have been released by Southampton, Bristol City, Swindon, and we have to try and polish them up when it's probably a little bit too late. So obviously with Richard's help, I think we're trying to look a little bit younger, and then trying to get them in at an age where we have more time to work with them, to give them the chance. But obviously Hannah's come in, she's done a sterling job so far, and we've sort of included 5-6 of the players already, which was a long way off last year. So yeah, that isn't going to be an ongoing process. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, in my opinion. I think Rich might be able to tell you more about the recruitment side of that.
Yeah, in terms of the structure, so previously before Hannah came in the summer, there was nobody responsible for academy recruitment, so it was put on the back burners a little bit, but now we've got someone specifically whose role it is to take care of that. We're working closely with a lot of other clubs because we haven't got great resource, but we're trying to make sure that what we're doing at the top end of the pitch on a Saturday with the first team, we can say, look, there's a proven pathway for boys, young lads playing and going through it that way. So we are dedicating resource to it, and we want to keep getting better. And as Mark said, Hannah's been great since she came in. She's really tied everything together, been really open with all the work we're doing. She watches Mark coach, takes the coaches up to watch the first team train. So everything's really closing in together. So it's good to see that. It's still early, but we know there's a lot of work to go, but it's going in the right direction.
There seems to be ongoing issues about stewarding that keep coming up. I personally don't have a problem there, but I know that a lot of people seem to. Is there anything we can say about how the stewards are instructed? Is a plan agreed with the club, or are they just brought in from outside and so on? Are different policies applied to away supporters compared with home supporters? That kind of thing. Some people in the South Stands clearly are aggrieved by the way the stewards are managed.
Yeah, I mean, we have the same stewards that Cheltenham have, and you know, they're not instructed to treat anybody differently to anybody else. I think they probably react to the way people are towards them, so that might account for some differences, but I know for a fact that they're not instructed to be more harsh, more aggressive with South Stand fans, or away fans for that matter, or any other part of the ground. So, you know, this is something we keep hearing about or reading about on social media. You know that South Stand stewarding is aggressive or something, but it's hard to see. It's hard to see that that's happening. Yes.
I think with a big issue with the South Stand is there only one area of the whole stand where yellow steps are enforced, meaning that you can't stand on the yellow steps. There's only one area in the whole stadium where the stewards care about it, and that's in the middle section of the South Stand. That's the only area they care about it. You can stand on them anywhere else apart from that.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'll pick that up after this. Middle section, South Stand.
Yeah, it's the only area.
Cool.
Thank you.
Seems to be not a lot of communication between the South Stand and sort of the top of the club. There's a lot of fans in the South Stand that don't feel connected to other parts of the stadium, and there seems to be like a lack of trust between not only stewards in the South Stand but just the club really. It's a weird one because as the drummer I find it disheartening to feel that people are being turned away from the club because of things that are happening off the pitch rather than on it, and it just seems a bit weird that it's sort of not necessarily Dale per se, but the things that are going off the pitch, like you bring this into the Brexit debate, the youth stadium, a lot of people are turning away from the club and the South Stand and singing because of that. And it's got nothing to do with the matters on the pitch, it's off the pitch. I was wondering if you could shed some light on that.
I can't shed any light on it, but I can comment on it. I think the Brexit thing was one Facebook post a couple of months ago, and like I said earlier, that's not the root cause of this problem. Other changes at the club probably are, and the new stadium will be one of them, for sure. And you know, I think it happens. People will be disaffected. Some people will be less comfortable with the changes and the direction of the club than others, and you know, they'll stay away or they won't sing if that's what they think they should be doing. And you know, I don't know what we can do about it. Other than say that, you know, we're open to hear what particular problems are, if there are some. If you're going to say to me, look, if you're going to pursue a new stadium, then we're not happy and we're not going to support the club, I'm just going to shrug and say, look, that's your choice. There's nothing I can do about that. If you're going to say we need to have meat on a match day, I'm going to shrug and say, look, it's not going to happen. So, but come up with something that we could do something about, and I'll listen. But I'm glad you guys are here today, because that's a start. You know, we haven't had a forum before. When people in the South Stand have been here, so that's a great start.
We had another one on social media. Last forum, Mark, you were watching Game of Thrones. What are you watching now?
Good question, that. Not into celebrity. Don't like it. Money Heist. I don't know if anyone's seen that. Quite like Money Heist. Spanish drama about a money heist. Come on, what else? There's loads. Netflix. Guilt. No, never awake for that. Always asleep by then. Especially on a Saturday. Oh, loads. Love my dramas. Crime. The Met I like on a Thursday night. London Police. Very good.
How are you enjoying young Jack Aitchison from Celtic?
Jack's a great player. It's nice when a player like him comes in. I took in a couple of trips up to Scotland last year when he was on loan. He's one that sort of caught the eye, and me and Mark had a plan for him when he came down. He always thought he was an out-and-out centre forward, and he was a little bit taken aback, wasn't he, Mark, when he came in and we told him that you're going to be playing just off the front man and playing with your face in the goal, and he's really taken to that. He's embraced being a Forest Green Rovers player, which is lovely for us as well. Like, he's taken to it really well. He's immersed himself in the group, so it's really pleasing when a young man like him comes down, applies himself, and is putting in performances on the pitch. And scoring on your debut always helps. So it's always a big plus, but no, it's lovely to see like the hard work that goes in when someone comes down and does well.
In the last few years, the black and white kit has completely gone. It's obviously a massive part of our history. Obviously, we call it Forest Green, but we've always played in black and white. Why is there no longer a black and white kit, and will it make a return?
It will make a return. You know, I can't really answer why there's no longer a black and white kit, other than to say that we just like to change things up. And so this year we went for the zebra stripe, we went for the Sea Shepherd third kit, and actually the away kits, black and white, yeah.
Black and green.
Oh, no, it's black and green, sorry, yeah. I'm getting mixed up. I've seen the designs for next year. I'm getting mixed up with that. So I can give you good news, black and white's coming back.
Black and white is back.
What do you perceive as the biggest risk to the club's future success that's outside of your direct control?
Climate change. It's got to be that, isn't it? I mean, how many times have we nearly had a game called off in the last month through rain? Planning's beyond my direct control, but I think we can beat that. But there ain't nothing we can do about the weather. Well, we can't stop the weather. We can mitigate it by preparation. And we're actually having these conversations now about having a different approach to drainage on the pitch for next season. to change what we consider to be good enough in terms of drainage because of the weather. So I'd say climate change is my answer. And on the away fan question, I didn't get to answer it. I just want to say, remember, we're the smallest club that's ever been in the league. And you know, it doesn't embarrass me that we might have small away attendances. I'm not embarrassed about anything about the club. I think what we do is fantastic. You know, we punch above our weight. You know, I'm proud of the club at all times.
One from the internet. Dale, what's your opinion of all the plaudits given to Premiership teams for their green plans? And that's from Alan King.
Well, I think it's good, actually. You know, I think it's good that they've got emerging green plans. I think it's good that they're getting plaudits for it because that will encourage them to do more. I don't think that they're doing a massive amount, but I don't want to criticise them because I'm just glad that they're getting started, and that's the most important thing. So I was pretty pleased to see the league table published last week, I think it was, for the Premier League teams. The lady that compiled that said that had we been in it, would have been top by a good margin, which is nice to know. But yeah, I just think it's a good thing that it's happening, and it's not just happening in the Premier League, it's happening in the world of sports, literally around the world. This is happening.